This is a disclaimer for all who watch. Any names or situations and conventions mentioned in this review have been altered for the sake of, I'm going to say privacy, but honestly, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I guess I'm just covering my own ass. But anything that is of worth of value that you can look up on your own time, go right ahead. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to change my words so much that you can't find it eventually, but for the sake of covering my ass, I'm going to use subtle wordplay and the such. Anyways, so this is going to be 10-minute segments of me telling my life as an otaku. And to people who don't understand what an otaku is, I don't honestly know why you looked at my video. But an otaku is someone who takes a fascination in the culture of Japan. People who are completely obsessed with Japan are what are called wikiboo, or some setup like that. But I am an otaku raised by the Japan itself, I would say, watching their programs, learning lessons from them, and I gotta say, I'm a lot more interesting than most people I know. But the one thing I have to say about anime is that it's something that I needed in my life, and it's something that has continually helped me in my life. But I'll get to those later. I'm going to start off with the early years, and then as these videos progress, as I run out of time going on, I'll do time skips between the years and go from there. Alright, I guess we're going to start our journey back, God, maybe 2000, 2001 would probably be my first year at Otakon. And my sister had gotten me into anime. She was younger then, and I guess being a female, she watched Sailor Moon and she found out she had a knack for the artwork, so she became an artist. And from that moment forward, every convention we ever went to, she got an artist table. She always did fairly well. Where she's ended up now, I'd rather not say, but at any rate, it introduced me into anime, and I went to these cons, and as a 11-year-old to about 14-year-old, I'd have to say that I was amazed at this world that I never knew about. There was people in mech suits that were maybe like 10 feet tall. There was men dressed as women, women dressed as men. I actually wrote a similar movie song to What Is This from Nightmare Before Christmas, but with Otaku. But I'm not doing that yet. But um, I never knew what Pedobear was until about 2008, 2009 when someone had to explain it to me. But I think I'm better off for not knowing what it was until then. But the point I'm trying to make here is that anime has an effect on people. It makes them either completely depraved or something else entirely. And I guess I'm that something else entirely because I accept my nerdiness and it's part of my life and it probably will be until the day I die. But we'll start at the beginning. So those first years at those cons were some of the loneliest I would have to say I ever had, but some of the most interesting as I was starting to understand what being an otaku was. I didn't really have that much of interest in any kind of anime. I just sat in one or two video rooms at a time and made the time go by. I didn't know what I was watching, but I loved costumes that I saw, and it became an everyday thing to just see that kind of stuff at cons. So I followed my sister around to all the conventions she went to with her friends, and I became friends with them to some degree. But she fell out with her friends, and she just didn't do them anymore. And it just, I didn't want to be alone in this. And so I kind of stopped going for, let's see, yeah, for about 3 years. I stopped going. Yeah, I don't see 2005. And yeah, before I forget, these are 2003 to 2010. The ones that I still have. The other ones, I don't know where they are. But for the years through 2000, yeah, 2005 to 2007, I was alone, and I had friends in high school that I would see on occasion, but I was always by myself. I I really didn't know where I was, and this was Otakon, and it was the only other one that these guys could get to. But until in 2007, a movie came out that 2006, 2007 that came out that completely changed the way how I saw anime entirely. And that movie was pictured here. On my badge would be Paprika. Now, for those of you that have not seen Paprika, stop this video now, go see the trailer for it, and then if you say it's like Inception, this came out before Inception, and frankly, it's a lot better and a lot more creative, in my opinion. I mean, sure, ooh, Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'd rather hear people I don't have to listen to because I could just read the subtitles. At any rate, so Paprika came out, and I had noticed the artwork of Satoshi Kon for a few years at that point. I had watched, and I own all of Paranoia Agent as it came out, before it came out on TV, and like, God, what year was that? Like 2004, 2005, something. And it made me sad how underwhelming the reviews were for it. I mean, no one seemed to get it or weren't really that interested, but I love the series. I still to this day, and I lost a lot of friends over that, and I don't understand why, but their loss. I mean, I'm amazing to some degree, but where to go from here? But I became a Satoshi Kon fan. I collected all his movies. I present them to all my friends, and if they don't go buy out and buy it, they either come by when I'm showing it, whenever I'm showing it. In fact, I run the anime club at my campus, and for this end of semester before Christmas break, we're going to be watching Tokyo Godfathers, which is a great, a great film about three homeless people in Japan that find a baby on Christmas Eve and seek to return it to its mother. And this brings them through dealing with the mafia, being abducted into some kind of fascist cult, a giant full speed race through Japan on bicycle, and no other movie I've seen has done anything like this. And it's a dark, funny comedy, and the jokes just make me laugh my ass off, even still years after I've seen it. But a tragedy struck in late 2008 after, yeah, yeah, 2009, 2008. Satoshi Kon, the creator of this fantastic film, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a really severe case. And despite all that, he decided that he was going to continue working on his fifth film until the day he died. And he did. And even after his death, he kept several files of his work that he had been working on, video files, notes, so the rest of his crew could finish his film. And at my last check, they're still working on the film. His character director, designer, whatever the phrase is, has been updated to director. And Madhouse, which is the animation company, was bought out by Disney. Now, I don't know what the situation is with that, but last I heard, they're still working on getting it released. And before all this happened, it would have to be my first year at Katsukan where I volunteered. But I'm looking at my clock now, and it looks like you guys are going to be cut short. I told myself I was going to restrict myself to 10 minutes, and that's what we're going to stay with. If you guys have any comments, post them below. If it's in the negative, you really have too much free time. But, feel free to ask questions. I'm here to serve to some degree. But I'm an anime fanatic. Ask me anime questions. If you have questions about the cons I go to and work at, feel free. And I just hit that 10-minute marker. So with this, I'm going to say goodnight, and hopefully this will get a good review that I decide to do a second video. You guys have a good one. Good night.